session, and that runs in the clubhouse every Tuesday and Wednesday morning from 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. And the sessions are absolutely free to attend. They're open for children between 0 to 4 years, slightly older, but obviously to welcome during holidays, and they've got weekly craft and baking activities and regular events going off with there. Also, back on Monday, the 8th of May, 6 p.m. on the main pitch for the first week, is Play Touch Rugby League. Turn up, play, more info.
Good afternoon, welcome to Rovers TV and the LD Nutrition Stadium for this Round 5 Challenge Cup tie between Featherstone Rovers and Oldham. The team lineups this afternoon: first of all, Featherstone Rovers, we have number 1 Ian Hardman, number 18 Scott Turner, number 4 Missy Talapapa, 3 Chris Alunya, 23 Josh Hardcastle, 19 Matty Wilde, 31 Corey Aston, 13 Richard Moore, 9 Keel Carlisle, 16 Luke Cooper, 11 Michael Knowles, 12 John Davies and 21 James Lockwood. On the interchange bench, 17 Sam Day, 8 Darryl Griffin, 10 Andy Bostock and 15 Brad Tagg. Oldham lineup is 17 Richard Lepori, 2 Adam Clay, 3 George Tyson, 22 Danny Grimshaw, 1 Scott Turner, 6 Scott Leatherbarrow, 7 Dave Hewitt, 10 Adam Neal, 21 Kenny Hughes, 19 Joe Burke, 15 Liam Bent, 12 Danny Langtree, 13 Liam Thompson. On the interchange, 24 Michael Ward, 18 Ben Davis, 20 Gareth Owen, 9 Sam G. Head coaches this afternoon, Featherstone Rovers John Sharp and Oldham Scott Naylor, and the referee is Mr. T. Grant. Good afternoon, Ben.
Good afternoon, Joanne.
Nice sunny afternoon here at LD Nutrition Stadium, isn't it?
A lot better than it was last time we played Oldham down here in the league.
Certainly, I think it's 15 degrees warmer, isn't it? And not that driving rain or a nasty cold wind.
And just a slight bit drier as well.
Yeah, we've got a dry track out there on the pitch for the players. We were just saying in the Facebook Live preparation out here that the players on the edges like a dry track, and we'll be certainly looking towards Turner, Talapapa, Alunya and Hardcastle to provide that speed for Featherstone Rovers today.
We will indeed, especially that three-quarter line has been so dangerous at times this year, and to have Talapapa back in this Featherstone Rovers team in the centres again today is the big boost. Josh Hardcastle moves out from the centres last week to the wing this week. He's one of those players who's never let Featherstone Rovers down, no matter where he plays, week in, week out. John Sharp said it time and time again. This time last year he was playing at Featherstone Lions, but he doesn't look out of place, does he? And
we've got a special afternoon this afternoon. It is the 50th anniversary of when Featherstone Rovers first won this hallowed Challenge Cup. So leading the Featherstone Rovers team out is the captain of that day in 1967, Mal Dixon, wearing the original shirt that he wore on that day and carrying the match ball as well. So it's all a pretty special occasion out there at the moment.
That's fantastic, isn't it? To have such a prestige guest here as well in the history of this old famous Featherstone Rovers club. I'm sure he'll be really honoured today to do that.
Certainly is an honour. It's also an honour for the Featherstone Rovers team to be led out by such a Featherstone Rovers legend, somebody who's never forgotten his roots with Featherstone Rovers and does such a lot with the past players as well. So it's going to be great to watch Mal Dixon leading these teams out. We've got the mascots on the pitch at the moment. Percy's out there and the bear from Oldham. Just waiting for those teams to come through the tunnel. Had the Featherstone Male Voice Choir here prior to kick-off, singing some of the Challenge Cup hymns. Abide With Me gets the hackles up on the back of your neck every time, doesn't it, that?
I've been to Wembley twice in my time. I went in 1998 when Sheffield beat Wigan. I also went when St Helens beat Hull. And there's nothing better than Abide With Me, especially at Wembley Stadium. It really does make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
It certainly does. It brings a tear to the eye. It's such an emotional song, and it was sang beautifully by the Featherstone Male Voice Choir, I must say. So just waiting, still waiting for them to come out. There's obviously quite a few dignitaries down there arranging them. It's going to lead them out any moment now.
It's a big match as well as this, Joanne, as well. It's the 5th round of the Challenge Cup. When you think we've had already, the Huddersfield Giants have already gone today, lost at home to Swinton.
And here come the two teams. Mal Dixon there in his original shirt, his original 1967 Wembley shirt. It's absolutely amazing that it still fits him, and he's got that match ball. That must be a prized possession.
Rugby balls have changed quite a bit since then.
I think they certainly have. 50 years, the evolution of the rugby league ball. So
what a reception he's getting now, Joanne, from this stadium this afternoon.
It certainly is. It's and much deserved as well. It's great to see, and it's fantastic that Featherstone Rovers are having that nod to their heritage. It was such a big moment in 1967 when Featherstone Rovers brought that cup home for the first time, a small mining village, to go to Wembley, to have that cup presented to them as well. I think it was by the Queen on that occasion, I do believe, in 1967. And, you know, it's such a fantastic achievement. And then, of course, Featherstone Rovers team went on to win it another twice in 73 and in 1983. So we're long overdue another win, aren't we?
Yeah, I'd love to see it happen, but when you think of the other teams that are in there, the Wiggins, the Castle Flint at the minute. But you're talking about the heritage of this great club. It's such an important occasion for those players as well today. And I'm sure, I think you spoke to John Sharp in the week, and he was reiterating about the heritage of the history of this competition and what it means to Featherstone Rovers.
Oh, it's massive. Is the heritage. It's something that John Sharp does want to instill into the players all the time about the history of this club, and he's made sure that everywhere where you look in their meeting rooms that you can see pictures of the Featherstone history. So Corey Aston's going to get this game underway now. Featherstone Rovers playing towards the Post Office Road end, and it's a tricky one for Oldham to take, but it is taken eventually. On their own 10 metre, and Featherstone Rovers defending well there, pushes the Oldham player back to 5 metres away from his own try line. So that's a great start, isn't it, Ben?
Superb kick-off from Corey Aston. It was attempted trap by the Oldham player there. It just lost control of it. It did well to retrieve, but that based on Featherstone Rovers early doors, pushing them back as they're doing again now.
Certainly are. The Featherstone Rovers defence up quickly onto these Oldham players and not letting them get any advantage over that advantage line. They are about 25 metres away from their own line, Oldham, at the moment, but they get the ball away from that tackle though, and that was good play by Oldham, and they make it up to the 40. It's the last tackle. So the ball comes out now, and it's kicked down the field to Ian Harman, who juggles with it a little bit. That was the kick from Dave Hewitt there. Ian Harman takes it up, and Oldham push him back this time as well. So Oldham defence starting as they mean to go on to. Missy Talapapa now brings it up to 20 metres away. Again, he's pushed back by the Oldham defence. So it's pretty equal stakes in terms of defence at the moment. Ball's played. Comes across to the right to Hardcastle. Hardcastle, the strong player that he is, takes it a good 5 metres forward. Just short of the 40 now, Featherstone Rovers with Aston. Aston to Lockwood. And it's the last tackle, so Featherstone made about the same ground as Oldham did in their first set. The kick comes from Aston, and that's going to be trapped there by Richard Lepori at full-back, and he drives it into the middle and makes it up just short of his own 40.
Not the best kick there from Corey Aston. Along the ground, it was easy for Richard Lepori to take, and it allowed him an opportunity to make a good 15-20 metres off that kick, and as a result of that, Oldham already in the Rovers half on tackle 3.
So Oldham now, yes, already in the Featherstone half, and they're playing towards that new stand end, the railway end, as we traditionally know it. And they're doing quick play of the balls, and there's the break there. There's a break, and the ball's going to be passed, but he's wrapped up on his own 10-metre line there. Is Kenny Hughes, the ball was passed to. So they're 8 metres short of the Featherstone line, and it comes across to Hewitt. Hewitt puts a kick in, and there's space there, and just at the last minute, the ball is kicked dead by Ian Hardman, and Missy Talapapa was in there as well, and bit of danger time there for Featherstone Rovers, wasn't it, Ben?
He actually came off an Oldham player at the end, so the referee said it's going to be a restart on the 20. But what a break it was, literally from Joe Burke from that Oldham team to set the position up, and then a great kick through from Dave Hewitt caused havoc in that Rovers defence, but in the end Rovers survived.
Talapapa there with an offload though, and Featherstone Rovers in a little bit of space now with Corey Aston, who makes it over the Oldham 40. He's looking for a quick play of the ball, but he doesn't get it, and he goes across into the middle with Wildy, but Oldham defence are waiting there to bring Lockwood to the floor. Lockwood plays the ball, it's coming over to the left this time with Wildy, and it goes to Ilunudu, and on the angle gets it away to Turner. Turner has to reach back for it and does well. And then it goes to Luke Cooper in the middle of the field, who steps around one, and then he gets the ball away to Aston, who knocks on, unfortunately. It did look as though it went back, that ball, but referee has said that it was a knock-on, so that set of 6, perhaps Featherstone just being a little bit too over-ambitious with the passing there.
Yeah, it was a good pass. It was out to Corey Aston, but it was Aston had just maybe overrun it by a yard. Had to reach behind himself to try and get that. Couldn't reel that ball, and he put the ball to ground, and the referee said, no, that'll be a knock-on, scrum down, head and feet to Oldham on the 20.
So 5 minutes gone in this game at the LD Nutrition Stadium, the Round 5 Challenge Cup game, and it's still 0-0 between the two teams as Oldham get the ball from that scrum, and they're bringing it up to their own 30. Goes now with Joe Burke. This time he gets tackled. He was the one who made that break, but there's a penalty against Featherstone Rovers, the first penalty of the game. The Grant says that Carlisle, Richard Moore just pushing Joe Burke back to the floor when he was trying to play the ball. So Oldham going to take this tap 5 metres in the Featherstone half.
Cheap yards there for Oldham. Piggybacking them back into that Rovers half again. They'll have to restart this set on halfway, and they'll have another full set in this Rovers half now.
Liam Thompson then taking the ball forward. Gets wrapped up though, it comes across to Hewitt. Hewitt with a short pass, which looked suspect to Liam Bent. It did look a little bit forward there, but that's not given. It comes across Hughes to Burke, and then there's a loose pass there from Oldham. It goes to ground, but it's picked up again by Danny Langtree, and Danny Langtree gets the ball away in a tackle where we really had no right to at all, and he got it away to Kenny Hughes, but Kenny Hughes is tackled by Richard Moore and Josh Hardcastle, John Davies and Josh Hardcastle, sorry. Joe Burke now. Joe Burke 20 metres away from the Featherstone line, driving it forwards. And it's coming across with some width to the right, and then it goes back into the middle, and there's a gap, and it comes out to Joe Burke. Joe Burke gets it across to the left this time, so Oldham has switched direction with Danny Grimshaw, who comes back into the middle, and Luke Cooper with a fantastic tackle on Danny Grimshaw dislodges the ball, and Featherstone regain possession there.
Oldham there looking very dangerous, moving that ball around well, but what a tackle it was from Luke Cooper to dislodge that ball when Oldham looked really dangerous, but now a mistake from Rovers. We've got a forward pass into our own 20-metre area. And Oldham now, Joanne, have got a great opportunity.
Oh, they're the things that you just don't want to be doing, do you, in your own 20-metre area. Pass was deemed as forward, and Oldham going to get a massive chance here with the ball. They've got some good territory here, and they're going to get 6 tackles in possession. 18 metres away from the line, this scrum's been set. So it comes out now across to Grimshaw, sorry. Grimshaw gets tackled though. John Davis in there with Corey Aston and Josh Hardcastle. Oldham looking to spread this ball around a little bit, and Featherstone waiting for them to come to them, and the 8 metres away from the line, it comes out to the right with Leatherbarrow, and it's a short pass. It's almost an intercept by Scott Turner, but the ball's put to ground. I think it's an Oldham knock on first there, so it will be a Featherstone scrum on this 10.
Lucky that for Featherstone Rovers. Oldham did get a hand to that ball first. But Oldham, though, throwing that ball around well, spreading that ball out well to that right-hand side. The pass, though, like I say, Rovers just got... Oldham just knocked that ball on and then attempted... Scott Turner tried to pick it up, but just couldn't get that ball, so... Rovers get a let off.
Yeah, it was in the air was the ball, and Oldham must have been offside at that scrum. Featherstone were holding it in the scrum, and Oldham crept forward 3 or 4 metres before that ball came out of the back, but nothing was given for that. So we're here now with Chris Alunya. He's come over onto this right-hand side at the moment and plays the ball. Comes to John Davis. John Davis takes it forward, and it looks to get the ball away to Carlisle, but decided against it at the last moment. Featherstone playing that ball 35 metres away from their own line. Lockwood takes it over the 40 though. It's a good drive. He pushes off the first Oldham player, and now it comes to Aston, who kicks early in the tackle count, and it goes past Lepori at full-back, but he races back to gather it, and he takes it up to the 20 metre, and that's a penalty. I think James Lockwood put a shoulder charge in there, Ben.
It was a better kick from Corey Aston, turning Richard Lepori round on that occasion. The chase was good from Featherstone Rovers, but James Lockwood there, like you say, the tackle was just deemed illegal by Mr. Grant, and a relieving penalty now for Oldham.
So Leatherbarrow takes that kick, and it goes to touch. It hits our gantry up here, and Oldham are going to take this tap 35 metres away from the Oldham line at the Post Office Road end. And that first drive, they make it to the 40. Lockwood and Moore in the tackle. That's a quick play of the ball, and it's a good drive forward there from Adam Neal up to halfway. So Oldham getting most of the possession and quite a bit of the territory in this opening 10 minutes. So another quick play of the ball, and it comes across to Leatherbarrow, who lays it off to Neal. Neal runs around the back, and he gets the ball away back to Leatherbarrow, and it comes out to the right with George Tyson. George Tyson fends off first, but then Featherstone back in with the tackle with Alunya. It comes across to Leatherbarrow, who has to reach for it, and he gets it to Neal. Neal getting through quite a bit of work, but he actually fell to the floor there and tripped over the ground, and it's the last tackle. The kick comes in there. It's a high one from Hewitt. It's knocked on by Oldham. Corey Aston comes up with the ball, so the referee just wipes the tackle count clean.
That's something I'm very good at doing, as well as tripping over the ground myself. Good kick though it was on that last tackle from Oldham. High in the air, it was not bad, but Corey Aston alert to drop on that ball and regain possession back for Featherstone Rovers.
So 10 minutes gone, still no score here at the LD Nutrition Stadium, and Scott Turner coming for a little bit of action onto this right-hand side, and there's a penalty at last for Featherstone Rovers. Oldham caught offside at that play of the ball. Scott Turner had come in onto this right-hand side, and he played the ball very quickly and caught Oldham offside. They couldn't cope with that, and so Corey Aston's going to take the kick to touch, and it's a good kick. Featherstone Rovers going to get this tap 15 metres away from the Oldham line, so Featherstone with the first real chance at attacking this Oldham line, and it comes with James Lockwood. James Lockwood drives it forward. He plays the ball to Carlisle. Carlisle dummies one way, and then the next goes to John Davis. John Davis going low, trying to get over the line, but is a couple of inches short. It comes to Hardcastle, who turns, and he gets over the line. Good play by Josh Hardcastle there to get over that Oldham try line to get the first score of this game. It's Featherstone Rovers 4, Oldham 0 after 12 minutes of play.
And that came about, Joanne, from the penalty won by Scott Turner in the first place. A quick play of the ball, which is what Rovers need to see more of. Catching Oldham, they couldn't get back the 10 quickly enough. Great touch finder from Corey Aston. A good drive in on that first from Lockwood. Then the ball came out right to Davis. It was held up at inches short, but the Oldham covered defence couldn't get across quickly enough. Hardcastle able to spin out that tackle, get the ball down. A great try for Featherstone Rovers.
He's a strong player, is Josh Hardcastle, isn't he? He's he was near the line, and he spun, as you say, spun round and managed to get that ball over the line. So good play by Hardcastle out there on this right-hand side. So Corey Aston with a conversion attempt about 20 metres to the right of the right-hand upright at this Post Office Road end. So he's just got the ball on the tee now and just eyeing up those posts. See if he can further extend the lead here for Featherstone Rovers this afternoon. Here he comes to take it. And that one is successful. So Featherstone Rovers 6, Oldham 0 after 13 minutes of play here at the LD Nutrition Stadium.
Great start for Featherstone Rovers. A really well worked try. Like I said, a quick play of the ball it was that got the territory in the first place. If Rovers can keep doing that, if the Oldham defence is slow retreating, that could be a tactic Rovers could use to their advantage, Joanne.
It could, and it's the first time that Featherstone Rovers have really had any possession in that area of the field, and they've come away with the try straight away as Oldham do a high swirling kick-off into this sun, but it's taken well there, and by Matty Wilde, it's laid off to Luke Cooper. Luke Cooper drives it over the Featherstone 20. Plays the ball and it comes to the left now with Richard Moore. Richard Moore beats the first tackler, but then gets put down on the 30. And it's coming across now with Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles with a scoot. About 6 metres short of halfway. And Keil Carlisle to Alunya. Makes it over halfway. So Featherstone making the metres forward in this set. It's the 4th tackle. Comes to Cooper. Cooper was standing still when he took that though, and it's the last tackle now, and Featherstone are on the Oldham 40. So Matty Wilde with the kick, and he drives it to touch, and that's going to go into touch within the Oldham 10-metre area.
Game management absolutely perfect there from Matty Wilde. A good set from Featherstone Rovers off the back of the try which they scored. The ball went out left to Matty Wilde, who was able to put the ball in. And he couldn't have asked for better game management, finding and touching just the right place.
Certainly was good game management, that, wasn't it? And it's what we saw against Bradford, wasn't it, on Easter Monday, where Featherstone were making Bradford pack down 10 metres away from their own line, hunting the mistake, making them do it tough and making them bring it out from deep within their own half.
Rovers can continue to do that and be aggressive in the defence like they were against the Bulls. They will be able to get on top in this game.
Having said that, though, Featherstone give a penalty away there. Caught offside. Scott Turner, Oldham's Scott Turner, that is, who went in quickly there, and the Featherstone Rovers players that tackled him were in an offside position. So Oldham going to take this tap just inside their half, about a metre inside. So they're going to. They've matched up the field 20 metres, so they're going to get some territory in the Featherstone Rovers half as Danny Langtree takes it forward now. Plays the ball and it comes across into the middle with Joe Burke. Joe Burke plays the ball. Comes across to Leatherbarrow. Leatherbarrow with a very short, which looks like a forward pass once again to Liam Bent. We saw that earlier, and those short passes look very suspect, but here's Joe Burke and he gets the ball to Leatherbarrow, but Leatherbarrow puts the ball to ground. It's a free play. It's Richard Moore that's got it. Featherstone Rovers trying to get the ball away, and I think in doing so throw a forward pass, but it will be the first offence. So it's a Featherstone Rovers put in on the 20-metre line on the Featherstone 20.
Leatherbarrow showing how dangerous he can be. Giving the ball in time, giving time on the ball there. But the ball put to ground. Good defence from Featherstone Rovers to force the mistake again. But Rovers need to be careful. If they give Leatherbarrow that time to create the space, he'll cause them a lot of problems this afternoon.
Need to watch the offloads. I think that's where Oldham are gaining some of their metres. They managed to offload in the tackles. So Featherstone Rovers then from this scrum, Talapapa takes it forward, and then Carlisle takes it, passes it to Josh Hardcastle. There's a player injured down on the floor for Oldham, so the referee's going to stop the game. It's Danny Grimshaw that's down there on the 30-metre. Physio's out to him, and I think he took a knock on the lead up there to that next play with Hardcastle. So Featherstone Rovers on their own 40. 17 minutes gone in this game. It's Featherstone Rovers 6, Oldham 0 in this round 5 Challenge Cup tie.
Oldham have had a lot of territory in this match in that Featherstone Rovers half of the field, not able to make it capitalising. Like you said, Rovers get one opportunity on that Oldham line. It was a great try from Josh Hardcastle. And Rovers just needs to be patient, Joanne. Keep tight in defence, keep the defensive line set, and then they'll start to grind this Oldham team down.
I think that's the plan, isn't it? That I mean, if Featherstone were to get another score, that might just be one too many scores for Oldham. And I think Oldham, when they did have all that territory and possession in those first 15 minutes, they needed to be capitalising on that, getting some points on the board. They haven't been able to do that. Grimshaw does get back to his feet, but I think, not sure if he's going to leave the field or not. It's a concussion interchange. Does look a little bit dazed, does Danny Grimshaw. He's holding his jaw out there, so he's obviously taken a knock to the head. The Featherstone doctor's out there with him, Juan Ballesteros. But I don't think he wants to go off the field, doesn't Grimshaw? And I did see the doctor actually shake his head, saying you don't need to actually do it's his jaw rather than his head. I've just seen him indicate. So Grimshaw's okay to carry on. So Featherstone Rovers play the ball and bring it up just short to the halfway line with James Lockwood. And it comes out to John Davis. That looked a bit of a very flat pass to John Davis from Aston. And then Carlisle takes it from dummy half, gets it to Lockwood. Lockwood gets it to Aston. Aston to Davis. But Davis is tackled well by Danny Grimshaw, but it was a high tackle. I think the crowd behind the sticks saw that because they all shouted.
Yes, it was a high tackle, and Rovers, superb, clever play there again. Obviously, Danny Grimshaw carrying that knock. I was massaging his jaw in the build-up to that, so Rovers attacking towards him, putting pressure on him early. So the tap's taken on the Oldham 20, and Richard Moore's got the ball now. He just gets inside that 20, comes over to the left with Wildy to Alunya, but Alunya's tackled well by 2 Oldham players, and he plays the ball quickly though, and it comes out to the left with Knowles. But again, good tackling, good defence by Oldham. Knowles is a couple of metres short, and the ball has to come out into the middle now. With Wildy. Wildy tries to go himself, but he's tackled 5 metres away from that Oldham line. And it comes out to Aston. Aston with a short pass to Richard Moore. Richard Moore is over the line. That's a try to Richard Moore. Good play in the build-up to that try, wasn't it, by Richard Moore? Outstanding play again from Featherstone Rovers. Working the ball from that right-hand corner back in field. The ball found its way to Richard Moore. And Richard Moore, from the pass from Aston, Aston drew the defender in, just created half the gap. Richard Moore able to go through that gap, get that ball down. And we've got 20 minutes gone here, the big fellas, Joanne. Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 0. Great play by Corey Aston, wasn't it, in that build-up? And he laid it on the plate for Richard Moore, but then Richard Moore used his strength and his agility to get over the line, and Corey Aston with a fairly simple conversion attempt here just to the right hand side of the posts. So he should add the extras here. 21 minutes gone in this first half at the LD Nutrition Stadium, round 5 Challenge Cup tie. Referee just holds the clock up now while Corey Aston gets ready to take this kick. Here it comes. He's actually put it wide. Amazingly, that goes to the left-hand side of the uprights, and he shakes his head, does Corey Aston. He's like thinking, how did that happen? I think the whole stadium is shaking his head as to how that one happened. But Rovers 10, Oldham 0. You talked about Rovers getting the next score. They could stretch out from this. They've got that. What we need to do, Joanne, is do what we did against Oldham. Get some pressure down there. Get some more points on the board before half-time. Certainly do, yeah. That was the second time that Featherstone have been in that territory, in that Oldham place, and scored once again. So once they're getting up there, they're scoring. That's another high swirling kick off into the sun, but Ian Harmon takes it well and he lays it off to Scott Turner.
But yeah, as soon as Featherstone get up there, they are actually putting points on the board. It's just getting there that's been the struggle. We haven't seen as much fast flowing as we did against Bradford. The domination that Featherstone showed in that first half on Monday. Oldham defence has actually been very good, and they've been wrapping the Featherstone players up. And perhaps with the omission of Thackeray, that could be an issue, as Josh Hardcastle puts the ball to the ground there on his own 40. He ran in front of the ball, pass, and went without it. So Oldham with an excellent opportunity here with Neil. Neil takes it over, with Burke, sorry, he takes it over the 30-metre line, and it comes across now to Leatherbarrow on that right-hand side. Poor pass from Leatherbarrow, though. George Tyson had to reach behind. However, he's still going, is Tyson, and there's a penalty against Featherstone Rovers.
Momentum lost with that pass from Leatherbarrow going behind George Tyson. But Rovers penalised for a high tackle. It's been more territory for Oldham and a chance for them to hit straight back.
Yeah, Featherstone being pinged for a couple of high tackles so far and a shoulder charge. So as Oldham make an interchange, Gareth Owen coming on the pitch. Oldham making a bit of a mess at the tap, but eventually they get it underway. So Oldham 12 metres away from the Featherstone Rovers line, as the ball's played very messily there, and Danny Langtree gets away with that, and the ball's driven forward by Ben Davis, another new entrant onto the field for Oldham. And it comes across to the left now with Hewitt. Hewitt round the back. And Oldham are 5 metres away from the line with Richard Lepori. And there's the ball's played to Michael Ward, yet another new entrant onto the field for Oldham. So they'll be making plenty of substitutions, and comes across into the middle with Hewitt. Hewitt to Leatherbarrow. Leatherbarrow to Lepori. Featherstone crowd shouting for a forward pass. Lepori's on the Featherstone 10-metre line, and it's the last tackle now. And it comes out to Leatherbarrow. On that last tackle, he puts a short pass to Tyson, but Alunya wraps Tyson up well. That's good play by Alunya, but he gets the ball away, actually. The referee hadn't shouted Eldon. Leatherbarrow, it's play on. Leatherbarrow puts a kick in, but John Davies takes it well under the sticks and runs away. Runs on the arc. That's great play by John Davies there. He makes it to 25 metres away from the line, and he was held down, was Davies, and the referee's not given anything. How that wasn't a penalty, I will never know. So Missy Telepapa now in the middle of the field. As Featherstone make a double interchange. Daryl Griffin and Andy Bostock coming on the field. Luke Cooper's one of the people that have gone off. I'm presuming Richard Moore's the other one. So the ball's played now. Featherstone just in the Oldham half, and Wilde kicks to touch, but it doesn't make it. It does run past Adam Clay, though, and Adam Clay has to track back almost to his own try line. So in the end, it was quite a good kick there from Wilde, and Oldham having to play the ball 5 metres away from their own line. Ben.
What a fantastic kick that was from Matty Wilde, pinning Oldham back in that corner, making them bring the ball back from deep. And if Rovers can keep the discipline, hunt the mistake now, they're going to have another great opportunity to go on.
Oldham Oldham bringing Sam G on now. So Oldham just short of the 30-metre line, their own 30-metre line. I'll play the ball. It comes into the middle of the field now with Ben Davis. But Ben Davis is wrapped up, and that's the last tackle for Oldham, and they're just short of their 40. Hewitt there kicks it just before the 40, but it's going to go straight into the arms of Missy Telepapa, who throws a very long pass into the middle of the field to Ian Harmon. Ian Harmon says, "Hey, Missy, have it back."
What? I don't like it when I see players doing that, John, especially so close to their own 20.
I don't think Harmon really wanted it, to be honest. He gave it back to Missy, and Ian Harmon now, though, is driving it forward towards his halfway line.
It's like, what are you passing the ball to me for? I don't want it.
I don't think there's a lot he could have done with it, really. It wasn't going to bring any advantage. As Brad Tagg comes onto the field for James Lockwood. So Featherstone made 3 interchanges now. Andy Bostock running forward. That's a great drive by Andy Bostock. 25 metres away from the Oldham line, he brings Featherstone Rovers. And it comes into the middle now with Aston. Aston to Wilde. Wilde with a little kick, a little dab through, and Michael Knowles is chasing it. Lepori's brave though, and he takes the ball, and I think he's got quite badly injured. There was a clash with Michael Knowles there with Richard Lepori, and referee immediately stopped play.
Well done, Richard Lepori there. Very brave in that tackle. Another fantastic kick though from Matty Wilde. Getting that ball through a gap. The chase from Knowles was superb. Richard Lepori came across. He was brave. He put his body on the line. Said, "You're not having that. I'm getting there first." It's picked up or not, but credit where credit's due there for Richard Lepori.
Yeah, extremely putting his body on the line. I think you'd say that it was because he had Michael Knowles herring after that kick, and he just basically put his body there and caught that ball. Managed to retain the ball as well, even after the clash with Knowles. So Oldham are probably going to play this ball 5 metres away from their own line. We've got 12 minutes remaining in this first half. It's still Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 0.
I think Rovers would probably like to have another score on board at least before half-time to show that Oldham have working hard to stay in this game. They've had a lot of territory, as we've said already. Defensively, they seem to have tightened up a bit, in the middle of the field. It's whether they can tighten up in their own 20 when Rovers get down there again. But Rovers really could do, I think, with another score before half-time, Joanne.
I fully agree, Ben, especially as Rovers are playing towards the Post Office Road end in this first half. You'd certainly be wanting them to be going in with an 18-point lead, I think, against Oldham.
Or 16.
Yeah, 16 or 18. And there's quite a long stoppage in play here as the physio tends to Richard Lepori down there on that right-hand side. Sun streaming down here at the LD Nutrition Stadium. It's a beautiful St George's Day.
Just had a couple of tries in the first half for Featherstone Rovers. First try came to Josh Hardcastle after 11 minutes, but then which Aston managed to goal. And then Richard Morse got a try after 19 minutes, which was missed by Corey Aston. So Rovers with a 10-0 lead, Joanna. We've got 10 minutes left to half-time.
And now we've got a shirt change. For some reason, Oldham haven't decided to do that in the middle of the off the field. So we got an even bigger stoppage then when Lepori changing his shirt. He's actually wearing number 16 now. So we'll have to remember that when we're commentating.
Just to try and confuse it even more.
That's right. We've got two Scott Turners on the field, and now we've got a different number. But Oldham now 15 metres away from their own line, and they're bringing it forward. Just made it over the 20 line, and Hardcastle and Tag in there in that tackle. Oldham made it over the 13. It's the last tackle, so they've not made many metres forward here. It comes to Leatherbarrow. Leatherbarrow just short of the 30, puts a really high kick into Scott Turner, and he's shielding his eyes from the sun. He takes it well in the end, though, and decides to go down that left-hand edge. And he gets away from the first tacklers, and he gets away again to Scott Turner. That's a great drive through, and he makes it into the Oldham half, and he's trying to play the ball, and the referee eventually gives the penalty. And that's the second penalty that Scott Turner's earned for Featherstone Rovers by trying to play the ball very quickly. So he's doing some good work there. Out on that left-hand edge is Scott. So the kicks come in, and Featherstone Rovers are going to take this tap with Sam Day 25 metres away from the line. So Sam Day is on the field for Featherstone Rovers. He's replaced Keil Carlisle. Whoa, and the ball came off an Oldham player there, and it's back to one. Ian Harmon did well to retain that possession. It comes across into the middle with Brad Tagg. Featherstone standing still a little bit in attack there, but Tagg did well in the end. Plays the ball 12 metres away. Day to Davis. Davis looking for somebody just on his right-hand shoulder, but Aston was a bit too far away. Comes across to the middle. That's an awful pass by Day, and Oldham are going to kick this on, and it's a chase between Clay and Hartman, but Clay goes down with the ball. He plays for safety first, and then Alonia has another go at Clay, and he's going to go for 10 minutes. Is Chris Alonia here for a professional foul?
Professional foul it was as well, Joanne. Chris Alonia there realised how stretched Rovers were A quick play the ball from Oldham, they'd have probably been over the line. As it is, Chris Alunya slowing the play down, having the extra effort. He's gone for 10 minutes.
He didn't need to do it. The Featherstone Rovers players that were back, they were fit enough to get back. Ian Hardman had released Adam Clay and said, come on then, play the ball. And then Alunya just went in for a second go and he didn't need to do it. As it is now, Oldham are going to tap this ball 15 metres away from the Featherstone line, and Featherstone down to 12 men. Seen plenty of yellow card action for Featherstone Rovers in recent games, aren't we?
Discipline, isn't it? We talked about it with the new referees that we're seeing game in, game out, learning how to marshalling these, play the balls in these games. Rovers need to be smarter in defence.
Michael Ward plays the ball 12 metres away from the Featherstone Rovers line. It comes across to the right to Leatherbarrow. Leatherbarrow holds it up. And the ball is passed to Scott Turner. Scott Turner comes away with it. And he's tackled 15 metres away from his line. It was Danny Langtree who offloaded that ball on that right-hand flank. And Scott Turner gratefully came up. And that looked a high shot on Missy. And the penalty's being given there. And in back play, Scott Turner there is saying, calm down, everyone, calm down. And he's really having a real go at the rest of his players.
What a game Scott Turner's having though, Joanne. What again, picking that ball up, making fully 15, 20 metres. But you're right, Rovers just need to keep the cool a bit. Calm things down, get some composure back to it. And then, you know, they've been in control. If they can keep the discipline, there's no reason why Rovers won't suffer from that.
That's true. So Featherstone Rovers with the ball. Daryl Griffin on the charge. Daryl Griffin gets it up to the Oldham 40. 6 minutes remaining in this first half. Andy Bostock now. Andy Bostock breaks the first tackle. He's looking, gets it away to Aston, but that's good tackling there from Oldham with Ben Davis. With Lepori with 16 on his back. Davis now. Davis loses a little bit of ground there. That was a good tackle. It comes across to Daryl Griffin. Again, Featherstone just a little bit stood still in attack, and it's the last tackle. It comes across to Aston. Aston with a short pass to Hardcastle. Hardcastle's going to have to do something with it. It's the last tackle. I don't think the Featherstone realised that when they were driving that in, so they turned the ball away. Turned the ball over, should I say, 10 metres away from the Oldham line.
Looks to me, Joanne, like Hardcastle and Missy Talapapa switched positions. Missy Talapapa seems to have moved out onto this right-hand wing. But another great effort from Rovers, just held up a couple of metres short on that last tackle. But if you're going to turn over, there's no better place to do it.
I think Hardcastle's been in centre most of the game, if not all of it, to be honest. He's certainly been in that right centre position. Here's Adam Clay now. Adam Clay on the charge for Oldham. He takes it up to the Oldham 30. Sorry, George Tyson even, not Adam Clay. So Oldham 5 metres short of the 40. Had quite a lot of possession in this first half of Oldham, but not had any points to show for it. And Sam G there with a good drive, and the ball's played. It's the last tackle of Hewitt. Hewitt with the kick into the centre of the field, and that's going to be one for Scott Turner to take. And Turner takes it, steadies himself, and he always seems to, looks a high tackle from Leatherbarrow, but he always seems to bounce the first line of defence off to Scott Turner. He must be so strong. And here's Talapapa now on that left-hand edge. He's coming in for a bit of action. Takes it up to the 40. Featherstone trying to play the ball to Knowles. It's a forward pass though from Sam Day from acting dummy half. I did think it was a bit suspect myself.
Yeah, forward pass disappointing there from Featherstone Rovers. Working the gaps well. To say that they're a man down, the way they were working that ball at that time, it didn't look like they were a man down. Mr. Talapapa switching wings for a moment, driving that ball in, but a forward pass from Sam Day. And when you're a man down, that's not what you need to be doing, Joanne.
No, and I think maybe the lack of game time for Sam Day is telling at the moment. He's done a couple of errant passes from dummy half, hasn't he? The one that led to the break by George Tyson before, and that was what led to Chris Alunion's 10 minutes in the sin bin. So Oldham in the Featherstone half on the Featherstone 40. Ball's played, it comes across now to Danny Grimshaw in the middle of the field. Grimshaw plays it, comes to Davis, Ben Davis that is, and Michael Ward even, and comes across to Lepori. Lepori has to reach for the ball, and Oldham keeping the ball alive here well, and Leatherbarrow gets it across to Ward again. Ward with that yellow scrum cap on, and he takes it up 15 metres away from the Featherstone line. Featherstone having to get through a lot of defending here, and the ball's charged forward by Oldham. They're 5 metres short, and it's the last tackle with Ben Davis. Plays the ball, it's feigned one way and then the other, and a little kick comes through, but Corey Aston picks that up easily. Not the best of play there by Oldham.
No, but good defence from Featherstone Rovers there. Oldham passing the balls, moving the ball around so quickly, trying to stretch that Rovers defence, but Rovers defence holding firm. And now they've got a penalty for a high tackle as well. A relieving penalty, so great work from the Rovers defence.
Yeah, I think it was holding down that penalty that the referee signalled. And just going back to that Oldham play before, it was Gareth Owen in at dummy half who feigned one way, then went the other, and then put the poor kick in that Aston took easily. So Oldham won't be happy with that. However, Featherstone Rovers do have the ball from this penalty tap with Josh Hardcastle. Hardcastle's been hauled to the ground there by 2 Oldham players. And now it comes to the right with Talapapa. Talapapa takes it over the halfway line. And he's got 4 people in attention. The ball's ripped. So referee's going to give a penalty there. 4 Oldham players on Talapapa. He gives the thumbs up there.
A big smile from Mrs. Talapapa there. He knows what he's doing so well in attacking those tackles. And the amount of penalties he wins to Featherstone Rovers, Joanne.
So around 6 minutes remaining in this first half. It's Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 0. Featherstone 20 metres away from that Oldham line. We've had quite a lot of stoppages in this first half, so it's gone on quite a long time, hasn't it? And Darryl Griffin now 15 metres away from the Oldham line, and it comes across into the middle with Aston. Aston to Hardman, but it was not the best of passes to Hardman from Aston. He had to reach low to take it. He plays the ball. Comes across to the right with Hardcastle. Hardcastle through a gap. Hardcastle with a great step. I think he might be held up over the line there. He certainly is, but that was great play by Josh Hardcastle. Ball came out to him and he saw the gap. He stepped into it, and he was unlucky to get a second try there was Hardcastle. The ball's played. It comes across to Aston. Aston to Tag. Tag takes it up to 10 metres away from the line, and it's the last tackle for Featherstone Rovers now. And Sam Day darts himself, but it's a penalty for not playing the ball correctly, perhaps. I'm not sure. Yeah, that would be that. So Brad Tagg, he said he didn't get to his feet to play the ball, I believe. So Oldham with a massive let-off there because Sam Day was dashing in from dummy half and he looked as though he was going to go closer.
Sam Day was over for me there, Joanne. The Oldham defence so slow to react to the speed with which he went out of that ruck. But Rovers there penalised for an incorrect play of the ball, and it's all starting off now, Joanne.
Well, the referee had blown the whistle. I think it was an incorrect tap, and then George Tyson got involved out there on that left-hand side with some Featherstone players. Ian Hardman's going up to the ref saying, look, sir, what's going on here? As he has every right to do as captain. So here's the tap taken by Oldham correctly this time. Sam G takes it forward, and he's 5 metres short of the Oldham 40 as he gets tackled. Comes across into the middle with Danny Langtree. Day and Davis and Tag in the tackle on Langtree. It's a quick play of the ball. It comes to G again. G plays the ball. Comes out to the right to Tyson. Tyson looks to break a tackle, and but he does a quick play of the ball. This is good play by Oldham at the moment. Leatherbarrow with a long looping pass out to the left. Out to this left-hand side to Danny Grimshaw, but that's good defence by Featherstone Rovers. Almost getting Grimshaw into touch, and the ball's lost. And the referee gives a penalty against Featherstone. It must have been deemed a ball steal there by Talapapa. Ian Hardman going up to the referee. I think he's starting to loses patience, as Ian Hardman, with the
The
referee
referee
here.
started to lose control a bit of this game, Joanne, if he's not careful. It's lucky
Yeah.
it's so close to half time.
Owen kicks the ball to touch, and it's going to be taken, that tap, by Owen on the Featherstone 20. So Oldham going forward with Ben Davis. Davis 18 metres away from the Featherstone Rovers line. 3 minutes remaining in this half. Hewitt now. Hewitt lays it off to Grimshaw. Grimshaw comes back into the middle of the field, and Grimshaw gives himself up for obstruction, but the referee says play on. So anyway, the ball's playing now out to the right-hand side, and almost an interception by Scott Turner. Unlucky Scott Turner there. It's going to be an Oldham putting at the scrum, but he was away there, was Scott, if he'd have caught that.
If he'd have caught that, there was nobody catching him. Then he had to walk in under the sticks. I think the only reason that wasn't given an obstruction, though, is that the Oldham player in possession gave himself up. If he'd have carried on with that movement, he would have been penalised. I'm with you. It looks to me a blatant obstruction.
It did me. I thought that Grimshaw had stopped because he knew he'd run behind the back of his player. Anyway, the scrum's set now, and referee wants it setting again. I don't think Featherstone had enough players in that scrum because of, obviously, 12 men on the pitch, with Chris Alonia being sent to the sin bin. So Oldham now in the middle of the field with Lepori, 10 metres away from the Featherstone line. Owen lays the ball off, and then the ball's passed to Lepori, who does well to hang on to it. Wasn't expecting that from Ben Davis. The ball now laid off to Ward. Ward gets tackled 5 metres away from the line. It's a quick play, the ball with Owen. Owen gets it out to Ben Davis, who gets over the line, but he's going to be held up. So Oldham are going to have to take the tap on, play the ball 10 metres away. Going to have to bring it back to the Featherstone 10 and play the ball. It comes across to G. G to Ward. Ward gets it out to Leatherbarrow, who spins, but then he drops the ball. And Featherstone Rovers come up with it with Corey Aston, and the referee's going to put the scrum down on the Featherstone 10. And there's a little bit of afters there between Owen and Aston. But to be fair, Aston is just laughing at Owen.
No, disappointing. I think that's more frustration than anything else from Oldham. Don't forget, Joanne, they're a man up on Rovers at the moment, but they're still struggling to break down this Rovers defence. Leatherbarrow, they're in a great position to try and get a kick behind that line, putting the ball down, and I think the frustration is starting to set in for Oldham a bit.
I think it was because he had to spin round in the... when he received that ball, Leatherbarrow, he had to spin round, and doing so, I don't think he ever fully had control of it and ended up dropping it on. But Owen and Aston having a little bit set too there. I saw a little bit of Corey Aston's dad in him then, when he had that cheeky smile. Anyway, Josh Hardcastle, 15 metres away from his own line, driving it forward. Almost time for the half-time hooter, so Featherstone in possession. Comes across into the middle with Darryl Griffin. Darryl Griffin takes on 3 Oldham defenders. Gets tackled just short of the 40. Comes to tag now. Featherstone going up in ones at the moment in attack. Now it's given some width to Wildy. Wildy shows it to Hardman, but doesn't pass it, and Wildy gets tackled 42 metres away from the line, and it's the last tackle, so Knowles drills the ball into touch. So that's going to be a scrum 10 metres away from the Oldham line, and it will probably take us to the half-time hoot of that, although the scoreboard clock can't be relied on.
No, I think that'll do from Michael Knowles there on that last tackle. Again, just finding touch, make sure you turn the Oldham team round. What it does as well, it gives your teammates a chance to take in some air, to get a breather, get the defensive line set. So I think overall, Rovers' game management in this first half has been pretty good, Joanne.
In terms of some of it, in terms of choosing to drill it into touch, but Oldham have certainly looked bright with the ball in attack. I know they've not managed to score any points, but they certainly look bright with the ball and caused Featherstone a little bit of problem, and they've certainly had the lion's share of possession through some of the penalty count that's gone against Featherstone in this first half. So got Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 0 as the half-time hooter goes. Quite a strange hooter here at the LD Nutrition Stadium.
It's like a siren from the war, that, isn't it? A siren.
It is, yeah. Perhaps another nod to heritage. So Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 0 in that first half. Do you want to just summarise that, Ben?
Yeah, it started off well for Oldham. They've had a lot of territory, as we said. Dave Hewitt able to kick the ball through, and it came back in field. Oldham had a chance to do something with it, but knocked the ball dead eventually. Cooper with a massive hit on Oldham to dislodge that ball. And then the try started then on 11 minutes with a try from Josh Hardcastle, which was called by Corey Aston. 8 minutes later, Richard Moore scored just to the right of the upright. And you think, oh, it's an easy kick for Corey Aston, but somehow he managed to put it as easy to miss than it was to kick, and he managed to miss it. But since then, we've had a break from Johnny Davis, which led up from a leather barrel kick through. Scott Turner, who for me has been outstanding in this first half, took the ball and he made a good 30-metre break. Chris Alunya had 10 minutes in the sin bin before a bus stop break at the centre of the field as well. Forward pass from Sam Day. We saw Josh Hardcastle held up over the line before incorrect play the balls. Davis for Oldham was also held up. Half-time 10-0, Joanne. Rovers in the lead. They haven't conceded a point. And for me, they haven't looked like conceding a point as well.
Well, I think Oldham have had a lot of territory, haven't they, up in that Featherstone area. A lot of possession as well. Penalty count gone against Featherstone Rovers in that first half. Some decisions that Featherstone might think have gone harshly against them. I think the Brad Tag play the ball where Sam Day was scooting from dummy half, perhaps a little bit harsh, because you can see that happening quite a number of times in the field, but the referee was quite convinced about that. Oldham have been keeping the ball alive very well. Seen a lot of Scott Leatherbarrow at standoff, and you know they've been offloading quite a lot. But having said that, Featherstone did well to defend their scoreline, to keep it to 0, especially bearing in mind that towards the end of that first half, for a good chunk of it, probably about almost the full 10 minutes, they didn't have Chris Alunya.
And I think maybe the only what Rovers will maybe have wanted in from that first half, coming down the slope, was maybe another score. That's maybe the only downer for Rovers in that first half. But I think it is crucial now for Rovers, Joanne, that they score first in the second half.
Yeah, I think so. It would have been nice for Featherstone to have had a more comfortable lead going into that half-time. I think Sam Day looked a little bit rusty when he came onto the field. I'm not sure. He did get better, though. And some of the passes that he put out from dummy half, not the best. But that's understandable because he's had quite a long period out and not been, I think, was it Bradford, the last game that he played? So, he's had quite a few games out. So it is understandable, is that. I think Featherstone just need to be patient. They have got the strength and the ability to beat this Oldham team, but what is not needed out there is not to panic. And we did see Scott Turner saying that, didn't we, in that first half? Featherstone Scott Turner, he was saying, come on, let's stop panicking, no need. And the other thing is not to get drawn in to Oldham. They were looking at sort of like starting a fight a couple of times, weren't they? And things were getting a little bit heated, and Featherstone need to be careful not to get drawn into that neither.
Scott Turner, for me, I mentioned as I was summarising, he's been superb in this first half, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He certainly has. We'll see what he does in the second half. We're going to take a break now, so don't go away. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the LD Nutrition Stadium this afternoon, the Round 5 Challenge Cup. Welcome back to the LD Nutrition Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 0 in this Round 5 Challenge Cup tie this afternoon. Featherstone Rovers out on the pitch at the moment, just awaiting Oldham to come out, Ben.
Yeah, I think, like we said just before we went off there, the key thing for me is patience with this Rovers team now. If they can get the first points of the second half, there's no reason they can't go on and make this a comfortable victory this afternoon. But patience and discipline for me are the keys in this game, Joanne.
I think Featherstone Rovers have showed that all this season, or most of this season, the patience and the discipline. Well, patience certainly, discipline not so much. Like I was saying, we seem to have seen a fair share of yellow cards in recent games as a club. I'm not sure, all for different kinds of offences, so not sure why we seem to be seeing those. I mean, it was a yellow card for Crystal Unyo. He put that second shove in on Tyson, wasn't needed at all. Perhaps a little bit of rush of the blood to the head, and that wasn't showing patience, and he didn't show trust in the rest of his teammates. However, I'm sure they'll have had a chat about that. We have got Alunya back, so Featherstone Rovers are back up to a full complement of players to start this second half.
I think one of the big things from a Rovers point of view as well, Joanne, when they were down to 12 men, they didn't concede any points. So they were able to, you had talked about the heart and desire of this Featherstone Rovers team. When they went down to 12 men, you couldn't tell at times. And they all pulled together and worked hard to fill that gap, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They looked pretty solid in defence, it has to be said, and that has been perhaps the outstanding part of the Featherstone Rovers play. Makes you wonder how much the attack is missing Anthony Thackeray, just that extra bit of edge. We've said before, Matty Wildy is better in that hooking position, isn't he? He's not a standoff really, and he's sort of filling in this afternoon. And like I say, it does make you wonder how much Thackeray, how much of a miss Thackeray is. A lot of things are coming to Corey Aston, although Wildy has been putting a good couple of kicks down on that left-hand side. One of them almost came off. It was only through the bravery of Richard Lepori that it didn't come off for Michael Knowles. So Oldham finally take the pitch. Featherstone Rovers been out there a good couple of minutes. Taking in the sunshine this afternoon here at LD Nutrition Stadium. Still awaiting the officials to take to the field though.
Here they come.
Here they come. Roundly booed by the Featherstone fans over there in the family stand.
Such a gracious reception there for the Rovers fans, really, isn't it?
Don't think they're happy with a few of the decisions they've seen from Mr. Grant and his two-touch judges this afternoon, but when are fans ever happy with referees?
Very true. Rovers are going to have the first use of the ball in this second half. They are now playing towards that Post Office Road end. There is a kick-off from Lepori. Ian Hardman is the one underneath it in the drive into there from Darryl Griffin. Griffin makes it just short of that 20-metre line. He'll play the ball to Sam Day, who moves it out right to Richard Moore. So Richard Moore is back on at the start of the second half for Rovers. Day again. Here's John Davis now. Davis, but it's well wrapped up there from Oldham. A few disgruntled cheers over on that far side. And John Davis says there's my penalty. Here's Richard Moore again now. Rovers just shy of their own 40. That's a good drive in from Brad Tagg. He gets to halfway. It was just ankle taps. And there's a kick from Corey Aston. Not the best kick though. It's straight down the throat of Lepori, who are able to return that ball well, Joanne.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of kicks, but it was a good chase by Day and Aston on Lepori, and they managed to wrap him up. So Oldham just making it up to the 30, and I think it's Andy Bostock who's come off for Richard Moore, by the way, as well.
Thank you for that. So here are Oldham then driving that ball in up towards their own 40-metre line. Sam Day getting through a lot of work, and here's Matthew Wildy as well now, involved in that tackle. The tackle is on Danny Langtree on halfway. It shows it left and goes right, and that's another good drive in. But good defence from Darryl Griffin on that occasion. It's the last tackle. So there's a kick from Ladbrokes. Didn't get the distance. Chris Alunya did superbly, then turned his back on the kick, able to get in the way of it, prevent it going further away, Joanne.
Yeah, he did well there, and Matty Wilder came up with the ball, and Scott Turner now come for a bit of action and takes it over the Featherstone 40.
Here's Tyler Papa now. Gets up to halfway and just over halfway. It's good defence though from Oldham. George Tyson involved in that tackle. Tyler Papa's lost that ball on halfway, so it will be a scrum down head and feet to Oldham.
George Tyson in well for Oldham there. He was the one who caused Tyler Papa to lose that ball. He got in the face of Tyler Papa and forced Tyler Papa onto the floor, and the impact on the floor made Tyler Papa lose the ball. So early turnover in possession, and Oldham going to get the scrum on halfway.
Which Ladbrokes will feed. Owen out to the back of that scrum. And here are Oldham now with Lepori on just inside the Rovers' half. Here's a drive in there from Michael Ward. Makes a good 10 metres. Owen waits, he'll bring that ball right. Ball goes through the hands of Ladbrokes now. Here's out to Tyson again. Tyson tries to duck under Alunya, but well tackled in the end. Alunya's helped out by Carlisle. Ladbrokes again. Drop off pass there. That's a good drive in from Oldham. They're just outside the Rovers 20. And here's a drive from Sam G now. Gets up to the Rovers 10. He offloads the ball away. It's a loose offload though. A lot of ground's been lost. But here are Oldham over on that far side. It's a skill for the line, and they're over the line.
Yeah, Oldham over there in that left-hand corner. It was a bit of a scrappy build-up to the try, wasn't it, there? And the ball came loose, and Gareth Owen picked it up. It looked to be a forward pass to Lepori. I thought it certainly was very flat, and eventually the ball came out over to that left-hand side, and they kept the ball alive with all due respect, did Oldham, and they managed to get in at the end. So Oldham broken. It was Oldham's Scott Turner that scored that try over in that left-hand side, and they've managed to break their duck really now, and it's Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 4 with 5 minutes of this second half gone.
And we talked about who scored, the importance of scoring first in this second half. Oldham have done that. That pulls them right back into this game with a kick from Ladbrokes to come.
And he's a good kicker, is Scott Ladbrokes. Probably put the commentator's curse on him there, but he's usually pretty accurate with place kicks, is Ladbrokes.
I hope you have put commentator's curse, and we'll find out in a minute. Here comes that kick now.
I have, I think.
It doesn't have the legs. It's dropped just under. Well done there, Joanne.
Thank you.
So we've got 5 minutes gone in the second half here at the LD Nutrition Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 4.
Yeah, not the start that Featherstone Rovers would have wanted to this second half. And like I say, it was a scrappy build-up to that try as well. And you do feel as though when that ball came out behind Gareth Owen, that Featherstone Rovers could have pushed up a little bit more, but they didn't. If you were being overly critical of them, and fair play to Oldham for keeping the ball alive, and the kickoffs come from Featherstone, and Oldham take it deep in their half. But that's a good drive in from Ward.
Indeed, Ward makes 15 metres. That kick taken by Oldham tight to their own try line. So here come Oldham now. The tails will be up after that one. All the territory they had in the first half, they weren't able to get over, but they have now done so early in this second half. Owen moves that ball inside. Here's a good drive in from Lepori. He gets just shy of his own 40-metre line, plays the ball. And here's a good drive in now. Rovers slow to move away, and there's a penalty for Featherstone now. This rule that neither of us like, Joanne, to be fair.
No, it wasn't actually. It was he played the ball off the floor. He passed the ball off the floor, and there's another 10 metres for descent there. So it was Davis, who was Ben Davis. He got tackled. His ball carrying arm hit the floor, and then he decided to offload, and that is definitely an offence. So Featherstone Rovers going to take this tap 22 metres away from the line, and Chris O'Lunya drives it forward and gets it to 8 metres away from the Oldham line.
Great drive from Chris O'Lunya there. Here's Sammy Day now. Wildy finds Aston. Aston to rip to Davis.
Oh.
Davis has put the ball down. What a disappointing set that was for Rovers.
Completion. Really important that Featherstone Rovers complete these sets, and not sure what was happening out there. It's went out to the right-hand side. Aston with a pass to Davis, and then Davis trying to offload it, and the ball went to ground, and Oldham have come up with that scrum on the 10-metre. They're going to get the advantage here, and it's disappointing because it was so early on in that set. Chris O'Lunya had done that first drive from the tap and put Featherstone in a really good position, and then to come up with the mistake is really disappointing to see.
Don't need to do it. Not at that stage in the tackle count anyway, but here at Oldham now. Bringing the ball out from their own line with Danny Langtree. Langtree plays the ball, and here that's another good drive in. This time from Ben Davis. He gets up to the Oldham 30. He'll play the ball. The ball comes in field to G. Makes another 10 metres. Oldham going up in 10s at the minute. And here's another drive in from Danny Langtree. That's good defence. Does well to hold on to the ball, Danny Langtree. I thought he was going to lose that then. Here's Leatherbarrow now on that last tackle. Drills that ball into the ground. Ian Harben stumbles with it, keeps his feet, takes that ball well. Leatherbarrow leading the chase. That's a good kick and a great chase, Joanne.
Oldham really got the tails up at the moment. That was a good kick from Leatherbarrow. Sorry, I just stumbled a little bit on my commentary there because Scott Turner almost lost the ball, and that would have been disastrous there as Talapapa takes it up to the Featherstone 30.
He is tackled on that Featherstone 30. Play the ball. Here's Richard Moore. As Keil Carlisle has returned for Rovers, and Darryl Griffin. That's a good drive from Griffin. Gets Rovers 5 metres in the Oldham half now. Here's Wildy on the last. He'll kick that ball over the top. It's a touch finder. It's going to stay in the field of play. Make Oldham have to play that ball. And they've played that superbly. What a break that is. From Adam Clay, and Rovers have been penalised, Joanne.
I think it was a high shot that went in there on the Oldham player. It was a great kick through from Wildy. It held up lovely, did that ball, but it was a great ball. Similarly, from Oldham to Adam Clay, and Adam Clay made the break through the middle of the field, but it was stopped with a high shot, and the referees penalised Featherstone for that. So Oldham are going to put this kick to touch 35 metres away from their own line, and they're going to get into the Featherstone half, no doubt, as Leatherbarrow takes that, and the referees put that on report.
So Scott Leatherbarrow then with ball in hand. That's going to get looked at by the match disciplinary panel this week. A bit of a flat kick from Leatherbarrow there, only made about 5 metres.
Did it go into the half as I predicted? So yeah, they're still going to be in their own half just.
So there's a tap from Tyson through the hands of Owen. Here goes Ward now. Tackle 5 metres inside his own half. Plays the ball. Here goes G. Look at that defence on Featherstone Rovers. Pushing G back there. But he is about 2 metres inside the Rovers half.
He's lost the ball. That's got to be a knock on. I think you'd have gone out on the pitch yourself if he'd have given a penalty there, wouldn't you?
It didn't look like he was going to give that then, did he? He actually didn't look like he was going to give that at all there.
Yeah, I think he was consulting with his touch judges, but yeah, he's given a knock on, so Featherstone going to get the putting at the scrum 5 metres short of halfway there.
For me, that was one of those blatant knock-ons you could see. It came out to the back of his hand, hit the deck behind him. The referee's looking at the front of player, can't see the ball, but still doesn't give it.
I think that demonstrates a lack of trust you've got in the official this afternoon there.
I don't know what you mean, Joanne. Here the Rovers on halfway then. Knowles moves it out to O'Lunya. O'Lunya gets up to that Oldham 40.
Lockwood's entered the field for Featherstone.
Here's Michael Knowles again, gets a good 10 metres made. Carlisle waits about 3 metres in from touch on this left-hand side. Wildy finds more. But good defence there from Oldham to wrap up Richard Moore. He'll play that ball to Carlisle. Carlisle to Lockwood. Brad Tag has gone off. Rovers are in the Oldham 20 here now. Aston now. Takes on the line himself. Does well, Corey Aston is 10 metres away now. But it was on the last tackle. Joanne, that's score on the last.
Again, just not completing the sets. Well, we did complete the set completely there, but that's not what you're wanting on the last tackle. Corey Aston, he was looking to get the ball away and then changed his mind at the last minute. I think either the move didn't come off or I'm not sure, but surely a little kick would have been better, creating something in attack. And Featherstone look to be lacking ideas a little bit at the moment in attack when it comes to that end of the field. I mean, it's still not a bad place to turn over possession on your own 10-metre line, but not the end to a set that you want to see. As I think is it Ward, Sam G that's had to leave the field for Oldham.
It is, and here's Ward driving that ball in now. So Oldham pinned back in their own 30. Sam G's played well for Oldham since he's been on.
Yeah, I think he just got injured in that last play with Aston.
So here's a scoop from Gareth Owen and dances away from one. Still going, that's good play. Tackled just outside his own 40, looks at Darryl Griffin. And here at Oldham now into the Rovers half they go with Joe Burke on the last tackle. So the ball goes left. And there's a kick from Hewitt. It's a knock on. The referee says no, it's for the last. Not the best to do in a second attempt. And what a return from Talapapa. Still going, Talapapa, Joanne.
Looked to be a high shot on Talapapa there. Ian Harmon's playing, and he's knocked on as Talapapa yet again. Ian Harmon not happy with the referee at all. It did look to be a high shot on him, but Oldham are going to get the putting at this scrum on the Featherstone 40.
So, Oldham then, the scrum is set. The referee's just given a signal saying as if he's wiped the tackle count claim there. I'm not sure what he meant by that. So the scrum sets on the Rovers 40. We've had 15 minutes gone here in the second half at the LD Nutrition Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 10, Oldham 4. And here comes Tyson now. Tackled 5 metres inside his own half. Plays the ball to Owen. And that ball works in field to Adam Neal, who's tackled on the 40. So Oldham not really made any yardage forward-wise, what they do on this occasion. That's a good drive in from Danny Langtree, who makes 10 metres. Owen waits now. Moves that ball through the hands. Here's Leatherbarrow. Leatherbarrow switches it out wide to the Oldham version of Scott Turner, who comes back in field and he's tackled 22 metres out centre field. He plays the ball to Owen. Owen switches that ball out left, and here's another break from Oldham, but Rovers defence working hard at the limit. We're on the last tackle. So here goes Leatherbarrow. He'll dink a kick over the top. It's not back. What's the referee going to say? It's the howler from Oldham. What's the call going to be here, says Mr. Referee? Joanne?
I'm guessing it'll be a turnover because it was on the last. Indeed it is. Featherstone Rovers are going to have that turnover on the 10. Darryl Griffin just taking on some watering back play there, but Featherstone didn't look confident with that little chip over the top from Scott Leatherbarrow. Alunya tried to pat it and it came off him, but then Oldham only had to pick it up to score, and they made a real mess of it. So Featherstone bringing it away from deep within their own half with Ian Harmon.
There goes Richard Moore now, driving that ball in. Plays the ball to Carlisle. Carlisle to Knowles. Knowles! Alunya to a gap! got Ian Hardman inside him. Ian Hardman is over under the stick, well, just to the left of the sticks. A superb try for Featherstone Rovers.
What a great try that was, and it's just what the doctor ordered. Perfect pass from Michael Knowles to Chris Alunya to put him in a gap. Alunya broke through, and who was it who was supporting? It was Mr. Ever Reliable Ian Hardman to clock up yet another try on his Featherstone Rovers tally, and that puts Featherstone Rovers in the lead. Featherstone Rovers 14, Oldham 4.
Ian Hardman does that so well, Joanne, doesn't he? When you get those breaks through those gaps like that, if you want someone, if you're looking over your shoulder either way, for someone in support, you can usually see Ian Hardman. He's never far away, is he?
Certainly isn't. He just has the ability to read plays. His work rate is tremendous, because to keep following plays like that, sometimes they come off, sometimes they don't. When they do, he reaps the glory and gets over the line. But what a peach of a pass there from Michael Knowles to Chris Alunya to put him into that gap.
So Corey Aston now with this conversion attempt. That one goes straight between the uprights. So we've got 22 minutes left here at the Big Fella Stadium. It's a 12-point gap. It's now Featherstone Rovers 16, Oldham 4.
And boy, was that needed, that try, because Oldham were just kind of grinding Featherstone down a little bit there, and it was so important that Featherstone had that next score on the board, and what a score it was to watch.
It was the timing of the pass from Michael Knowles, wasn't it? Just delayed it till just that right time. There's the kick-off from Oldham. It's one that's got Rovers chasing it, but they've chased it down well. They've taken it.
It's a great kick-off from Oldham. That it was really high towering kick, but it was taken well in the end by Featherstone.
And here's Richard Moore now.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. He nearly lost the ball, did Richard Moore?
Adam Neal has returned for Oldham in place of Michael Ward. And there's a penalty for Featherstone Rovers, won by Lockwood on that occasion. So Rovers are going to get a penalty now. If Rovers can get another quick score now, John, I think you'll see them pull away a bit now.
Just need some territory and possession up there at that railway end, don't we? And that was for a second push by Oldham, that penalty. So Featherstone are going to take this tap 30 metres away from the Oldham line.
Darryl Griffin makes it to a couple of metres shy of the Oldham 20 centre field. Carlisle has the scoot, then finds Wildy. Wildy out the back to Hardman. Here goes Scott Turner, cuts inside. Still going, Turner. Still going, but he's tackled in the end. If anyone deserves a try for me today, it's Scott Turner. Here's Carlisle now. Wildy finds Aston. Aston finds Johnny Davis. Maybe not the best pass on that occasion. Davis tackled 10 metres out. Carlisle again now. Griffin finds Lockwood again. He tries to dance around the tackle. Carlisle. Rovers still going. The tackle 3 metres short now. Carlisle finds Lockwood on the charge. James Lockwood is over for Featherstone Rovers. We've got 20 minutes left on the clock, Joanne.
Featherstone Rovers, good build up to that try. They're passing the ball around, and it was a great try, wasn't it? Keil Carlisle got it to James Lockwood, and James Lockwood powered over and managed to score the try there to the left-hand side of those posts. Corey Aston with a relatively easy conversion attempt to follow.
Just as I said as well, if Rovers can get another quick score, I fancy them to pull ahead. I think James Lockwood was listening to me, on that occasion. 2 tries in 3 minutes for Featherstone Rovers. I've just stretched it. I fancy now that might stretch the game out beyond Oldham with a 20 points to 4 lead with a kick to come, Joanne.
Certainly will. Like I say, it was good play leading up to that try. Drove it near the post. Keil Carlisle then with that short pass to James Lockwood, and Lockwood got over the try. And it's his debut try of the season as well.
So 2 tries in 3 minutes for Featherstone Rovers, who are now just taking the positions back up for this kick-off. Corey Aston then is just to the left of the uprights, a more or less identical position from where he just kicked one 3 minutes earlier. That one has the same result. That one's outside the ground, so with 18 and a half left on the clock, Joanne, it's Featherstone Rovers now 22, Oldham 4.
That's put a different slant on the game, hasn't it? And what we were saying at half-time about Featherstone Rovers being patient, and I said that they've got the ability and the strength and the skills to win this game. They just needed to believe in themselves a little bit more, and that certainly has happened.
Darryl Griffin has been withdrawn for Featherstone Rovers, and back on is Luke Cooper. So there's another kick-off from Oldham. It's a deeper one this time. Tyler Papa underneath it, takes it, and he'll take that first drive in. So here come Rovers. They're looking to work out from their own area. A good 10-metre drive there. They're just shy of their own 30 now. Carlisle waits. A slow play of the ball. Referee shaking his head. Here's Lockwood, try scorer. Rovers then 5 short of half with Carlisle. Cooper with his first drive back in. It's a good drive as well, pumping those legs. It's made another 10 metres, John, with 3 players in the tackle. Here's Knowles, he'll drill that ball forward. It's taken well though by Lapori. But a good chase there from Alunyu and Knowles themselves.
Certainly was, yeah. Luke Cooper in that drive, in that build-up towards a bit before that kick. He's on top of his game at the moment, is Luke Cooper. It's good to see, isn't it?
Fantastic to see here. Holding them 25 out from their own line. Driving that ball in, but good defence from Featherstone Rovers. Cooper involved again, along with Richard Moore. So Oldham on their own 40. Ball's passed inside to Adam Neal, who gets up to halfway. That's the last tackle, says the referee. So the ball comes right to Leatherbarrow. He'll put that ball in the air. Ian Hardman, safe as houses, as you'd expect. Takes that ball well and returns it well, Joanne.
He does. He's had quite a busy job as captain this afternoon, as Ian Hardman, especially the first half. And Oldham crept offside there. Big cheer of the afternoon, probably from the Featherstone Rovers fans as that penalty was given. I think they felt that Oldham have been persistently offside, as Aston with a massive kick to touch, and Featherstone are going to take the tap 25 metres away from the Oldham line.
What a touch finder that was from Corey Aston there. So here is Corey Aston then to Luke Cooper. Cooper pumping those legs again. 15 metres out, centre field. Aston. Wildy to Alunyu. Alunyu well wrapped up there though by Adam Clay. Quickly joined by 2 more. Quick play the ball, Carlisle to Knowles. Knowles going for the line. He's tackled a metre short, I think. He'll play that ball to Carlisle. Carlisle swings it back in field. Here's Lockwood now. Carlisle again now. Through the hands it goes. Here's Aston. Sees a gap and goes for it. A beautiful pass out of the back door from Corey Aston, and Featherstone Rovers are over again.
Yeah, it was a great play by Corey Aston there. Talked about Michael Knowles' pass to Chris Alunyu in the other try. This was a great pass out of the back from Corey Aston out to that right-hand side, and a great try, greatly worked try. Featherstone Rovers further extending the lead here. It's Featherstone Rovers 26, Corey Aston 4.
Josh Hardcastle is with the try for Rovers there. A beautiful pass out the back door there from Corey Aston, which Josh Hardcastle able to finish off. A lot's been said about Corey Aston, the way he's slotted into this Rovers team so well, and it looks like he's been playing with the halfbacks for years, doesn't he, at times?
Well, Corey Aston, he's still learning his game. He does admit that himself. When you interview him, it's certainly not the finished article. As Brad Tagg enters the field for Richard Moore, he admits that himself, but he's certainly got a lot of skill as his conversion attempt is unsuccessful there, so it remains Featherstone Rovers 26, Oldham 4 here at the LD Nutrition Stadium in this round 5 Challenge Cup tie. 16 minutes remaining. Looks like Featherstone Rovers are going to be in the bag, dare we say it, for that next round. The round when the other Super League clubs enter as well, so it could be could start getting excited about who we want down here.
I can tell you one team we won't be getting, and that's Huddersfield.
I said big Super League clubs.
There's a short kick-off from Oldham, taken well by Hardcastle.
I'm just hope there's no Huddersfield fans listening. They're probably really falling out with me now.
Here goes Johnny Davis now. Oh, he's lost the ball in the tackle, so Rovers not able to complete the set from the kick-off.
Yeah, it was an untidy play, the ball there from John Davis, and he dropped the ball as he tried to play it, and so Oldham are going to get the putting at the scrum on this on the Featherstone 40. 1,408 here this afternoon for this Ladbrokes Challenge Cup match between Featherstone Rovers and Oldham. So here's Leatherbarrow now. Through the hands it goes. That's better passing. And here's George Tyson almost away. He is away from Alunja, but Rovers defence gets back to complete the tackle. George Tyson been strong all afternoon for Oldham. I'd say he's perhaps one of the pick-out players for them.
There they are over on this far side now at Oldham with Liam Bent. Good defence from Rovers. Holding down in the tackle, holding on too long, Johnny Davis there. We've got 14 and a half minutes left here at the Big Fella Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 26, Oldham 4. Here's Hewitt. Here's Leatherbarrow now. That ball's put down though on the first tackle. And if ever there's a coach killer, that's one, isn't it, Joanne?
Certainly is. Danny Langtree spilling that ball. He'd overrun the pass actually, and it was behind him, and he put the ball to ground on that first play in that set of 6. Oldham attacking the Featherstone line 10 metres away from the Featherstone line. So yeah, you're right. Scott Naylor would not be happy with that. It was perhaps Oldham's big chance of getting into this game as Scott Turner slips, but he gets back up onto his feet as he takes that ball forward 15 metres away from his own line.
And here are Rovers now, John Davis. That's a better run. He's got the ball out to Talapapa. Talapapa steps inside, then goes out again. Great break from Featherstone Rovers. Talapapa with a quick play of the ball. Aston now swings it out to Hardman. Hardman away from one. He's got that ball away to Lockwood himself. That's great play from Rovers. Hardman out in half-back now. Wildy finds Alunja. Alunja through a gap. He gets that ball back to Wildy now. Cooper finds Lockwood again. Great play from Featherstone Rovers. Carlisle swings it out to Knowles. Knowles shows it and goes himself. Knowles is just held up on that last tackle. Ball completed, put down by Oldham. So maybe not the best pass, but Rovers will say that'll be another set of 6 on the Oldham line.
That's right, sustained pressure, isn't it? Oldham trying to pat that ball forward, and they certainly did do. So Featherstone are going to get this scrum on the Oldham 10. 12 minutes remaining in this game. Featherstone with a commanding lead now at 26 points to 4. The game's gone from Oldham. They're going to be out of this Challenge Cup, but Featherstone Rovers will go marching on into round 6.
So it's Carlisle. That's the best of scrum to Aston. Aston to Alunja. Alunja tries to get through the gap, but he's tackled by Tyson. Carlisle again. Aston again. Here's Johnny Davis. But he's going to be dragged in north. It's stayed in the field of play. Superb work from Davis. Here goes Hardcastle now. Spinning out of the tackle, but it's well tackled, a metre short. Here's Aston. Oh, Cooper, they went backwards, says the referee, so Rovers get away with that one, but they've lost momentum, and in fact, they've won the penalty instead.
Yeah, Wildy did well to keep that ball alive. He'd got on-rushing Oldham players at him, and it was a head-high shot on Luke Cooper. That's why the penalty's been given. Hardcastle coming close to his hat-trick just in the play before that as well. He was going for the line. It would be great to see him get a hat-trick this afternoon.
There goes Bradley tag then. Wildy again. Hardman out the back door. Well, that pass is behind Turner. That's ball from Featherstone Rovers.
Scott Turner in lots of space. Hardman had seen that, but the pass wasn't executed well and it went behind Scott Turner. Turner was in the right position for it and it was worth a punt, but unfortunately went sailing into touch, did the pass because it had gone behind Turner, and George Tyson in back play for Oldham just getting a little bit of treatment. He's really put his body on the line this afternoon. He's put his heart and soul into this Oldham play, hasn't he? And I'd say he's the Oldham man of the match for me.
No argument from me there. We've got 10 minutes left here at the LD Nutrition Stadium. It's Featherstone Rovers 26, Oldham 4. Here at Oldham, driving that ball in now with Adam Neal. Ball comes right. And there's an attempted offload.
It's a knock on.
It's a knock on. It was Joe Burke, with the first drive. Adam Neal took the second one in. He tried to offload, but was knocked on by his teammate.
Yeah, Featherstone very carefully, just not getting the leg above the horizontal there of Neal, and Neal was trying to get the ball away, released the ball in the tackle, and he knocked on. So not a good ending for Oldham. Good for Featherstone though, and we'll see what they'll do from this scrum. Asking Ian Hardman to go over to the right, so not sure if we've got some kind of move coming on now.
So scrum is set 35 metres from that Oldham line. Here goes Wildy. Wildy though is tackled by Leatherbarrow. On the Oldham 30. Carlisle finds Cooper. Cooper drives that ball in for the 20. Carlisle comes left again with Wildy. Here's Knowles now. Out the back to Wildy. Not back again, but Wildy retrieves it. Wildy through a gap. What a tackle that was from Richard Rapori.
Scott Turner, I think it was, who did the tackle for Oldham.
Turner, sorry, you're right. Hardman now.
That was Richard Lapari who did the tackle on Hardman. So, yeah, two good tackles.
The wrong way around, sorry. Johnny Davis is over for Featherstone Rovers now. We've got 8.5 left on the clock. And it's Featherstone Rovers 30, Oldham 4.
Oldham hanging on a little bit in defence there. And there's something going on behind the post. Not sure, some afters, I think. However, Oldham hanging on in defence. It was a good tackle by Scott Turner on Wildy, and then the ball came across to the right, and then it was a good tackle. It came over to the right, good tackle by Lapori on Hardman, and then the ball came over to Davis, and Davis went over on that right-hand side. So that's Featherstone Rovers 30, Oldham 4, with 8 minutes of this game remaining. Kick still to come.
So Corey Aston then will set this, we'll line this cook up. Thinking about a couple of meters, about 3 metres in from touch on that right hand side. Just putting the tee down now. Been a much better second half from Featherstone Rovers though, Joanne.
Well, it has. I think Oldham have run out of steam as well, and like I say, this is what we were saying. Not sure what is going on down there. The crowd very vocal, aren't they, behind the sticks? But yeah, I think Oldham have just run out of steam eventually, haven't they? And Featherstone been too strong and powerful for this team in the end, and got the 30 on the board. Oldham a very spirited performance in that first half. Here's Corey Aston with the conversion attempt, which is unsuccessful. So the score remains 30 points to 4, with just under 7 minutes remaining in this game.
So Oldham then slow to take up the position for the kick-off, so the referee stops the clock. Been a dominant performance from Rovers, especially in this second half though.
I think the referee's calling the captains out. He's asking Leatherbarrow well, he's asking James Lockwood now and Leather Barrow. Just having a chat with them. I'm not sure why he called James Lockwood rather than Ian Hardman, but...
Leather Barrow's not happy with something, though, is he?
No.
So
I think it's because James Lockwood was the nearest one to him.
So there's the kick-off, straight down the throat to Josh Hardcastle. You could see that he was trying something different, but if you're going to do that, you need to put it somewhere other than Josh Hardcastle's breadbasket.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of kick-offs, was it, there from Oldham? And Featherstone, with Missy Talapapa, gets it up to the halfway line. So Featherstone already in that Oldham half.
Within 2 tackles of the kick-off. So here's Brad Tagg now. Lockwood finds Hardman. Hardman to Wildy. Wildy takes on that line himself, but it's tackled well by Leather Barrow. Carlisle again. Cooper. So Rovers up to inside the Oldham 30 now. Carlisle again. Aston is going to put an early kick in. It's turned Lepori around, but it's found touch in the end. Rovers will take that with 6 minutes left, though, Joanne.
Certainly will, won't they? It's just a matter of playing the game correctly, isn't it? And it was a delightful little chip over Lepori's head. Went down onto the right-hand touchline, and Featherstone going to defend this scrum from the Oldham 10, but Oldham have been struggling to get forward of late in this second half.
So out to the base of scrum come Oldham now. Here's Adam Clay. Cooper involved in that tackle. So here at Oldham, then this Rovers defence in the second half has been superb. And
I think the defence in the first half was superb as well, to be honest, Ben. You know, in the first half, Featherstone kept Oldham scoreless. And in the second half, it's been great. So I think you'd say a fantastic defensive effort all round, as that's an immense kick from Oldham.
Just fell outside the 20 though, so a 40-20 attempt.
It was unlucky.
Just went the wrong side of the 20-metre line.
Yes, the scrum's just been set 21 metres away from the Featherstone line, isn't it? So really unlucky not to get the 40-20.
So Rovers are going to get head and feed at this scrum. Like I say, 21 metres out. It was a great effort from the kick though.
Certainly was. Scrum's just been taking a while to be set here.
So Corey Aston feeds that scrum. Out to the back of it goes Carlisle. Scott Turner with that first tackle. Quick play the ball. Luke Cooper of all people. Attacking half back to Knowles. Here goes Wildy. Sam Day has come on for Rovers. He finds the Lunya.
Sam Day re-enters the field for Keele Carlisle. He's going to finish at hooker for Featherstone Rovers. His last few minutes of the half, get a bit more game time.
Wildy drills that ball for the touchline. That's clever play. Crystal Lunya struggling in back play. It looks like a bit of cramp at the minute.
Yeah, it looks as though he's got some cramp.
But he's worked hard as always today, Crystal Lunya, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. His work rate is huge, isn't it? And great to see that break that he did earlier that led to the try for Ian Harman. He's going to pack down in the scrum. Leather Barrow going to feed it for Oldham, 15 metres away from the Oldham line.
So feed it he does, and out to the back of the door, out to the back door. So Oldham men in possession. Go inside the last 3 minutes here at the LD Nutrition Stadium. And that's a good drive forward from Oldham, but look at that defence from Featherstone Rovers again.
Bringing Crystal Lunya off the field. No point risking him if he's got a bit of a strain. I think Danny Evans has called him to the sideline, and They're looking to bring him off. He's looking a bit puzzled, to be honest. He's gone back on again now.
He doesn't want to go off.
He doesn't. He says, what are you bringing me off for? Just cramp?
I can run that off, no problem. So hold him on halfway now. Hewitt drops that pass off. But good defence again from Featherstone Rovers. On that last tackle now, Oldham. They're only 5 metres inside the Rovers half. It's going to be with Leatherbarrow again. He'll put that in the air again. Ian Hardman. There's no point in doing that to Ian Hardman, is there? Well, you can guarantee I'll take it every single time.
The other thing as well, when Scott Leatherbarrow takes a kick for Oldham, it does take time before he puts the kick up, does Scott Leatherbarrow. And every one of his Oldham teammates were all offside. So it gives Ian Harmon the extra gap as Sam Day takes it forward now. Ian Harmon down in back play. He's got injured there on the halfway line. That's not a good sign for Featherstone.
Richard Moore named as a sponsors man of the match this afternoon. Chris Olunya's just stretching that cramp out a bit more. He's trying to work those muscles. So Ian Hardman is okay. Wildy now finds Lockwood. Lockwood drives that ball in. Wildy again. Knowles dinks one over the top for Olunya to chase. Cramp? What cramp, he says. Completes that tackle with Michael Knowles on the Oldham 10. And Oldham got to bring it back the full length again, Joanne.
Yeah, Scott Turner took that kick well from Michael Knowles. He was under pressure from Olunya and Knowles, but he took it well. So Oldham bringing it away just short of their own 20-metre line with less than a minute on the clock remaining in this round 5 Challenge Cup tie.
Here's Liam Thompson, then 25 out from his own line. Oh, what a tackle!
Luke Cooper again.
That's 2 he's made today, isn't it?
Certainly is.
So Leatherbarrow again is going to run it. On the last, he's still running it. He's got the ball out wide. There's the kick through. Johnny Davis just shepherded that back with Matty Wildy, and Ian Hardman said, tell you what, if you don't want it, I'll have it instead. And here's Scott Turner now. Scott Turner's away. Makes the break. He's 5 metres short, halfway to Aston now. Aston finds Josh Hardcastle. He's got 2 tries this afternoon. He's had a great afternoon, and he's up to the Oldham 40. Referee says, no way, mate, get up and play that one. Here's Cooper again. There goes the air raid siren. Everyone take cover. Featherstone Rovers have successfully navigated past Oldham in this Challenge Cup 5th round match. It's finished Featherstone Rovers 30, Oldham 4. And Joanne, I'll hand over to you to sum up, please.
Yeah, it was 10-0 at half-time. Oldham got the first try through Scott Turner, but Featherstone Rovers were patient. They managed to put more points on the board than through Ian Harmon, James Lockwood, Josh Hardcastle with his second, and John Davis. So, comprehensive victory in the end for Featherstone Rovers here in this round 5 Challenge Cup tie. They're going to be in the bag for the round 6 draw, and that's when the top Super League teams come in. So Featherstone Rovers will be looking for a prize draw in that next round. Thank you for joining us this afternoon here at the LD Nutrition Stadium, Featherstone Rovers. Thank you, Ben, for joining us too.
Thank you, Joanne. I'll see you next week. It's Aston versus Aston.
Yes, the Aston family. Could sing there, couldn't I? So yeah, it's the Aston versus Aston game next week. Get yourselves down here. It's back to the league. So from the LD Nutrition Stadium, we bid you farewell. Go to have a chat with John Sharp, and some of the players get some post-match reaction now.